everybody, and welcome to Self-Help FAQ, the YouTube channel. I'm Barb, your host, and today for Follow-Up Friday, I found a comment under our last video for Community Conversations from Snoopy622 that I found both simple and profound, and I thought it deserved unpacking. And his quote was, "Sugar makes a healthy man sick and a sick man sicker." So today we're going to talk about sugar and its impact on your energy and brain fog and things like that. So let's dig deeper on sugar. If you haven't studied sugar before, this is pretty fascinating, and you might find out that you need to cut back. Let's dig in. Okay, so sugar, or glucose, is the body's fastest energy source, and athletes sometimes use it during their intense activity for a quick boost, like juice, orange juice. But outside of short bursts, constant sugar intake stresses the body. And so here we have what looks like sugary treats on a roller coaster, because when you eat sugar, your blood sugar spikes, and then your pancreas releases insulin. The insulin pushes glucose into the cells, and you get your energy. Then your blood sugar drops, and you feel fatigued, you got brain fog, and maybe irritability. So that's the sugar crash. Over time, this up and down cycle tires out your system. So here I found a nice little illustration of what happens when you allow the roller coaster sugar rise and crash happening. If you continue to do this to yourself, you end up with insulin resistance. And this is found at sparsdiagnostica.com, and it's called Symptoms of Insulin Resistance. So as you see here, the pancreas produces insulin in order to keep your blood sugar balanced. But with decades of high sugar intake, your cells may become resistant to insulin. And so then the sugar is floating out in your bloodstream. It forces the pancreas to work harder, and then it struggles to keep up. So then you get prediabetes, diabetes, and chronic fatigue. And here are some of the symptoms that you might have insulin resistance. Acne, hair loss, skin tags, low blood sugar, high triglycerides or high cholesterol, craving sweets, belly fat, fatty liver, PCOS, high blood sugar, feeling tired after meals, weight gain, decreased testosterone, low muscle tone, and gout, just to name a few things. And once again, this illustration can be found at Sparse Diagnostic Center or sparshdiagnostica.com. So do you remember this little image from our last video? This is a mitochondria in the cell, which is the purplish, lavender-looking sausage-shaped things that look like they have mustard on them. I'm trying to circle it with my arrow here. That's the mitochondria, which are the power plants of your cells. So the mitochondria burn glucose and oxygen to make ATP, which is your cellular energy. But if you have constant sugar spikes, they get overwhelmed, and it leads to oxidative stress, which is like cellular rusting, and inflammation in the brain and body. So the result is brain fog, memory issues, and lower physical energy. Now, this is your brain on sugar. Actually, this image can be found at neurosciencenews.com in an article about glucose and brain aging. The brain does primarily use glucose as fuel, but it takes a steady stream of glucose, not spikes and crashes. Too much sugar impairs clarity instead of helping it. But in low sugar states like fasting or keto, the brain can also run on ketones from fat, which some people find give them more mental sharpness. The bottom line is that the brain wants stable fuel, not excess fuel. So your best fuels for mental clarity are going to be your complex carbohydrates. These are the slow-burning foods that you can get turned into glucose, but slower rate. So that'd be your whole grains. And so if you have the pasta there, make sure it's whole wheat or some other grain that's been made into pasta. Beans and your vegetables, green leafy. You eat the rainbow, red, green, purple, yellow. And nuts and seeds. You can get healthy fats from avocados, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish. These build on brain cell membranes, and when needed, they provide ketones. Your protein stabilizes blood sugar and supports your neurotransmitter production. And don't forget to get some water in for hydration. You know, if you're dehydrated, that can cause your brain fog and low energy as well. So here's a great article from the American Heart Association, which has their address online is heart.org. And this is an article called How Much Sugar is Too Much? Do you know how much you're supposed to have each day? I mean, it's not recommended to eat sugar, but if you eat sugar, they do have recommendation where to stop. It's interesting. It shows, first of all, the major sources of added sugar, where it shows us where they are. So sugar-sweetened beverages account for 24%, and that's soft drinks, fruit drinks, sport drinks, and other sources. And then you have your desserts and sweet snacks. It's 19%. Everything from cookies to ice cream to cakes, pies, donuts, you name it. And then coffee and tea, 11%, candy, 9%, breakfast and cereal bars, 7%, and high-fat milk and sweetened yogurt, 4%. So what's their recommendation? They say men should consume no more than 9 teaspoons, or 36 grams, or 150 calories, of added sugar per day. And women should consume no more than 6 teaspoons, which is 25 grams, or 100 calories per day. Do you know that just 1 can of Coke can have about, a 12-ounce can of Coke has about 39 grams of sugar. That's equal to like 10 teaspoons of sugar. So if you drink half a can, that's already 5 teaspoons, around 20 grams of sugar, gone in a few gulps. So a half a can of Coke nearly maxes out your sugar allowance for the whole day. You have to be careful where your sugar is coming from. And I highly recommend, if you're worried about sugar, you should definitely read this article. So it's the American Heart Association. You can find them at heart.org. And the article is called How Much Sugar is Too Much? Look into it. Well, no wonder sugar makes a healthy man sick and a sick man sicker. Were you surprised about how much sugar is in the allowance for the day? Have you checked the labels on some of your products that have some hidden sugars in them? Try looking at your ketchup label. You might be surprised there. Let me know in the comments if you find some other products that surprise you that had sugar in them that you wouldn't think would have sugar. Okay, so your key takeaways from today's video should be that excess sugar is like a fuel that burns too fast and leaves you with ashes. And so I wonder, have you noticed sugar affecting your clarity or energy? And have you made any changes that made you feel sharper? What did you do? And don't forget to work on the best fuels for your clarity. Make sure you're eating the slow-burning carbs, the complex carbs, and eating healthy fats, protein, and don't forget to get hydrated. Drink your water, or your vitamin water, or your herbal tea, whatever you can drink that helps hydrate you. And if it tastes good, you'll drink it. And so thank you very much for listening and watching to the video today. And I hope that you'll tune in next time when on Community Conversations we're going to talk about the people problem and something I call brain worms. Suspense, right? So tune in next time for community conversations. Please like and subscribe to the video. It really helps me build up and show other people what I'm talking about here so I can help them. And if you'd like to support my work, check the description box below for ways that you can donate. And thanks again. Have a great day. We'll see you next time on Self-Help FAQ, the YouTube channel. Bye for now.